Darcy Rowland.
Hi, thank you for allowing us to speak. Right now, there's a lot I would like to say, but I think Brian DeBoer might be able to clarify a lot of things I want to say. So I'm going to give the podium to Brian at this time. Thank you.
Good evening, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
Good evening. I would like the crowd to know that we heard you this morning also.
That's what I was just going to get to. I first wanted to make a statement of clarification. I made a statement on social media earlier that may have given some people indication that during the meeting earlier today that I was given a lot of time to speak, over 10 minutes, which I was very appreciative of. In my Facebook post, I think it could have been interpreted. I was trying to say that people weren't given the opportunity to speak down there this morning, and I just want to clarify, it wasn't my intention to give that impression, and I just want to acknowledge that you guys did give every person that signed up to speak the opportunity to speak this morning and say what they could within their time constraints. My statement was more referring to my time constraint. I didn't get to some of my questions, so I'll try to make this really quick. Is there a less long-term commitment solution to the funding of these infrastructure anomalies and needs that could be utilized that doesn't give such far-reaching, ambiguous powers to a board of unelected individuals for a term of 25 years? I just feel like the opportunity for future interpretations, I understand you guys have very focused intentions on making improvements to infrastructure shortfalls that have been identified by the engineering firm. But my concern is 5 years from now or 10 years from now, when it's a whole different board of people, the authorities granted to a redevelopment commission that's fashioned in this way once you get into the TIF district. As I interpret them, I'm not a legal attorney or anything, so we could probably better explain this to me, but they're very ambiguous in nature and far-reaching, and I don't really see, other than a small list of regulatory constraints that's in the Indiana Code. Again, it's pretty ambiguous. I don't understand, is there a specific oversight of elected individuals? I think that's what the gentleman was trying to ask earlier, that come in over top of a redevelopment board such as, an establishment of a redevelopment commission, as what you guys are proposing. I mean, you guys already have done that, but as far as the proposed TIF, what's the regulatory oversight of this?
Have any other questions?
I have.
Okay.
So,
the 25-year term you're speaking of is one that is in state regulations. That's the reason we have picked the longest term for you, so you collect the most money. I take all 25 years. We do not have 25-year term.
correct. Therein lies my concern.
I can be replaced.
I feel like what you guys are talking about is novel. You've identified things that need fixed in the community.
So, I mean, if you don't like,
Right.
if you don't like me, you can go to the county commissioners and they can fire me tomorrow.
Right. But I mean, as far as your declarations and things that you appoint TIF money to be allocated to as far as projects in the community, like the fixing of Professional Drive or Business Center Drive, I mean, obviously you've identified those two focal points. TIF area is rather large.
What we have done is, we give you some examples of things that we think need to be taken care of. We didn't do that just by going and walking through Bright and saying, oh, this and that. And we heard somebody who really knew what he was doing, an engineering firm, who does that too.
They didn't stop by my business and talk to me. I understand that's a starting point for you guys, but it seems like this goes too far before the point of where the public gets to express, hey, this is what we think we would like to see in our.
We haven't done anything yet.
I understand.
And what we also proposed was to bring someone in to help you make those decisions as to what you want, so that we can get some direction. This is money that's going to be used for you, and this meeting and what we do later in meeting with people at Bright and asking those questions and making those plans is to involve you in what happens to your community, not us. We want to be the instrument that finances it, and we'd like to look in and give you some examples of things that we think we probably use it for. That you don't want to do that, just let us know.
Okay. If I could make 2 more points really quickly, I'll be done.
Okay.
So another concern that I have is that the stated purposes listed in the declaration, she's got my title page up, so I had to write the declaration of the redevelopment area. Section 2, the commission finds that the plan for the area 1, for A, promotes significant opportunities for gainful employment of the citizens of Dearborn County. So
that is one of the reasons for using TIF. That is not the reason we're using TIF in Bright. We use that in the West Harrison TIF in 2 cases. We use that in the West Aurora case in 1 case.
Right.
All very well received. In Bright, all we want to do is work on your infrastructure and those things that you think are important to your quality of life.
But I don't see that listed in the section 2 the commission finds.
Did you see it in the briefing?
I did, but this is the legal document that is the declaration of the formation of this organization.
The manual I
That's a
have
slide.
tells us how to do this is 272 pages long.
I actually was just reading the 31 this morning at sunup.
And it's huge, and we are not able to do what we are not legally authorized to do.
Well, maybe this will help. I feel like there's a disconnect between you guys and the intentions.
Well,
What I heard
let me
expressed.
just ask you this. Do you have a problem with us trying to get some money so that the people of Bright can make their lives better?
At face value, absolutely not. No one in this room would. My problem is this goes far, it's far further reaching than face value. It says here, section B, assists in the attraction of major new business enterprises in Dearborn County. I don't see how these statements of purpose are relevant to the community.
We have done those things. We have done those things in other TIFs. A TIF can be used for
But this
many.
isn't about other tips. This is speaking specifically of Bright. So what are your plans for our area? I guess I'm asking.
Right now, we don't have a plan for your area other than to get some money for you to use to improve your area.
Specifically, at this point, the only thing that's been designated are, geez, I can't think of it, professional drive and business center drive, correct? Those are the
That's one of the things that we.
two things that have been identified. That's the only things I've been made aware of.
That's something that we think is worth doing. Just, let us know.
So I think when people look at this document, in all due respect, they see these statements of purpose and they glaringly don't align with our community.
Tell me, what document do you have there?
I have your declaration of formation.
I know what you have. Okay. I know, you don't have to help.
The declaration of resolution of the Dearborn County Redevelopment Commission establishing the Bright Economic Development Area and allocation area and all matters related to
I
the
have
city.
it. And all those documents say the same thing.
And it was duly entered for taxation on July 17, 2024, according to this.
We're about to run out of time. Tell me your fears.
I don't have any fears. My concerns are that there's no stated purpose for the formation of this district other than those 2 roads in this document that aligns with the community, resounding sentiment of the community that is identified in this document. And it's very non-specific. If a future board comes in, I'm not saying there's any ill intent with you guys. I think what you guys are trying to do here is great. The obvious benefit of focusing your tax dollars locally is beneficial. No one in the room will argue that. It's the ambiguity of the formation of this organization and the powers that it would hold going forward for 25 years that could be interpreted by other people for other purposes that may not align with the community's wishes, standards, and desires at the time. Thank you. And I apologize for taking so much time. I feel like these questions in a situation as significant and the power that's going to be bestowed on this organization, I would like to go on record as saying I think it warrants a much longer conversation than the 5 minutes that were presumably allocated here. Thank you.